And thank you all for being here. Mostly thank you to J&J for hosting us and providing us with this great nutrition. I feel very excited to be in the Baby Center. The Baby Center is a great place for this talk because everything you just heard hopefully will completely change the lives of the babies that are part and have been touched by the Baby Center. We hope never will a baby, well, let's hope a baby from this center never ever has to ask for permission to see their data inside somebody else's health system. May they be anywhere on the planet and always have access to very secure personal data about themselves, specific to health, specific to finance, specific to real estate, and so on. And these are the promises of blockchain. Let's also hope that very, very few of these babies actually ever become patients. That we put together the blockchain infrastructure such that each child can benefit from those multitudes of children that came before them, and that they have every chance to live all of their 100+ years on the planet feeling strong, vital, and productive to society. This is our job. We need to get this done together, and that's why I'm so glad you're here tonight to help us with this task. Quick bit about my background. As Uli said, I'm also a physician, trained, and spent the first part of my career actually doing a lot of deliveries. A little island of medicine where you're not having to write prescriptions for much more than prenatal vitamins, and you feel like everything is a fabulous outcome. But as my career went on, I became more and more exposed to families and children of significantly poor health that was dramatically preventable, but was failed to be prevented here in the US. And that pushed me into trying hard to change the healthcare system. Remember, it was built well before the internet. We built this reactive model, and now we need to use these data tools to put us in this proactive model so that these babies can have full access to the technology that's available today, so that they're not locked into the system that we have now, but really have access to knowing much more than what we know today. So, as was mentioned earlier, why? I think a really easy way to think about this is one of the defining events of this century for humankind has been that we are no longer accidentally well. We no longer have an opportunity to have children that we don't have to raise the way our parents raised us. Our parents didn't know how to feed us, they didn't know how to move us, or how to put us, how many hours we needed to sleep. We just accidentally got access to a sufficient level of our genetic potential because many of those defaults were set at a decent place. We got some exposure to whole foods, good activity, but that's not the case for children today. And so we're really at a place where we are looking at, if we are hoping for a human-centric future, this is the technology that we can finally use to get ourselves there. We need to get to a place where the health intelligence matches the technology that's available for that intelligence, but it has been blocked previously due to business models. And medicine has always been on this average. You know, you get your labs done and you're told, well, you're average or you're normal. All that means is you can't actually get a prescription today, but it doesn't actually speak to what's optimal. And that's what some of the earlier speakers were talking about, crowdsourcing in high definition, what actually is optimal for humans. So blockchain, I like to think of it as a mathematically fortified internet. What we have today is not enough. We really need to use this new internet that can provide us with the types of intelligence that are so available, yet not really realized. It has an amazing ability, as mentioned previously, to remove friction, to allow individual communities to work together to create value and coalesce around common goals. It has this ability to expose surplus value and provide, as was mentioned earlier, this gaming or this innovative incentive models. How long have we been asking people to look after their health because it was, quote, good for them? That's never been enough of a value proposition. And now we have a tool where communities can co-design an incentive system that works for them specifically. But our task at hand here today is not to just take our current medical model and push it onto a blockchain. We really do need to work together to think and rethink about health and health from a trans-global perspective. And that's one of the beautiful things that is built in with blockchain. It's trans-global by design. And when we start looking at trans-global health, we can take the benefits that are happening. Perhaps the sleep in Sweden is something that is better than the sleep here. Let's find out why. And that's where the IoT, AI, blockchain combination can start to really put together those co-occurrences that matter. And imagine if the babies from the baby center could put together the co-occurrences that really matter throughout the decades of their lives, then they won't even have to shoot for being accidentally well. That's us. They can shoot for being super well. Imagine the type of health that could be achieved if we were able to be intelligent about the co-occurrences that matter throughout the decades of our lives. And then, of course, this idea about trans-globally coordinating around shared goals. Imagine if communities decided, you know, we really need an MRI in my community. Let's get together and set up a new type of crowdfunding and token model that will enable us not only to fund this new MRI, but also to provide incentives for early users. These are the types of models we would expect communities on the ground to have the tools to do things very differently than they're doing today. And by enabling communities, you can perhaps provide a mechanism by which intractable problems that have been going on for decades, showing us that we've thrown our best effort at things like poverty, but now with new tools, perhaps the communities themselves will be able to finally put an end to these sorts of things. I'm not going to spend too much time on funding because I know we're getting short on time, but ICOs, or initial coin offerings, or token events, they offer us an opportunity for generating funding that in some senses is excessive. But the economists will tell us all that this is just normal when we're going through these economic cycles. The earlier the investments, the hype is high, but it unleashes a lot of capital to allow us to get out there and try new things. Right now, we of course are dealing with a concentration of talent that may not be here in the US. Lots of talent offshore. In fact, Consensus this week was reporting that more than 50% of their attendees were all from overseas. So we're starting to see significant talent that is not here in the US, but hopefully we can attract more of it here. Just wanted to leave you with a really quick 3 options for next steps. Johan Gives did a very nice talk. It's a YouTube talk on decentralized societies. I think that's a great place to start to understand the future in a way in which we can rethink health without just, as I say, porting the current system over to a blockchain. Stephen Johnson, he does a nice job of just taking us from where we were with the old internet and walking us now forward to this new mathematically fortified internet called blockchain. And then finally, Simon, I love his curation markets paper. Again, just 3 really great options to get you started thinking about a future, a trans-global future where we're all citizens of the same planet. None of us have to walk into an epilepsy episode and just expect our doctor to wing it. Which drug should I put you on first? We would have the benefit of every child or adult that had epilepsy previously and track that longitudinal history so that no one has to be an experiment any longer. So looking forward to a future with blockchain allowing us to finally do much more than what we've done previously. We've been talking about transforming health and the problems that we started the evening with, Uli's presentation. That is something that we've been talking about for years now, right, Uli? And I think with the situation with blockchain, we're really at a place where talking about transformation can turn into providing meaningful transformation. Let's look forward to all of the babies coming out of the baby center with a very different health system than the one we have today. And I look forward to working with all of you to make sure that happens. Thank you.